What annoys you the most about the pandemic? Moving to a new area right before and being unable to make friends. This I felt so alone. I had plans, got go to different art classes and things, but everything got shut down. I have zero friends. You should try online gaming. Fun and you can make new friends. Yeah, but then you have to meet online gamers. /s. Yeah, met me. Now, but don't worry. I wouldn't like to talk to me either. The commercials. Good lord, if I see one more commercial with WE carry about YOU. In these trying times. Apostrophe. We're in this together. Now buy our stuff. You whore. Can't get any decent 99% ISAPRA pill to clean my glassware. So far this is one of the only comments that is an annoyance. And not a rather serious grievance. Best answer here. I'm just tired of talking about it and it's somehow creeping into every single conversation. I work in a large hospital in a large city, and I have to deal with it at work every day. I don't want to have to constantly discuss it when I'm not on the clock. 2. The other day I tried to Google something biology related. I think it was a question about antibodies or something, and literally every result was about coronavirus. I know, poor me. I had to use Google's advanced search first world problems etc. But it's like, just because coronavirus is a pandemic right now does not mean every microbiological question that someone Googles is about it. I noticed that as well. I was trying to self-diagnose something and related to COVID-19, but the search results were flooded with articles about the virus. Word of, hopefully, helpful advice to you and you /letter B when searching on Google. You can use word to omit results with your chosen word. Obviously you would get rid of the brackets and the quotation marks. But just a tip for next time. You can also tell Google to show results from a year ago. I do this instead of -corona. Manage a convenience store. Seems like a third of things I try to order are on back order. Same and same. And nobody believes it. So they start bitching up a storm while their saliva spatters on the improvised plexiglass shield that is all the owner will pay for. Because they have asthma and can't wear a mask while I stand there in a mask for the 6th hour straight while my chronic bronchitis is giving me hell. The past couple of weeks, I've just kept the second register open, one person per shift. But we have 2 registers. And I'll let them rant, but keep serving other customers. Some of them get absolutely livid that they can't hold everyone up while they have their say and storm out swearing they won't be back. By my count, I've only actually lost 2 regular customers so far doing this. So I guess they found somewhere else to buy their 99-cent 3-pack of blunts. Boo-hoo. Same. I thought stock clerk was a better position for me as it doesn't usually require me to deal with customers. Now they are just bitching in my face because they see a scanner in my hand and assume I own the store and the warehouse we get our merch from. We are the cheap grocery store, so they can threaten to leave, but they can't afford anywhere else. I respect that the supply chain is ducked, but bruh, I'm so sick of this shit. You can and should walk away from any customer if they are being an angry tantrum. It might just be me, but the lack of respect people display now. I work in a warehouse that isn't open to the public. Never has or will be. We are not a storefront. We have no signs beyond basic markers for delivery drivers. Orders have always been done either via email or a phone call. And yet people will just walk in and order stuff now and expect it to be done then and there. That's just wrong. I'm waiting to find out if I have cancer. And I can't take someone in with me for support. Wishing you the best. This is admittedly somewhat selfish, but I miss being able to go to the store at 3 a.m. when nobody else is around. Basically, I was a midnight shopper too. Thankfully, my grocery store lets me order my groceries ahead of time now and loads them into my car for me when I pick them up. I don't even have to get out of the car. It's very nice. As someone who works in live music and whose partner is a musician, the lack of shows. I hear you. I miss live music. I had a ticket to see Rage Against the Machine and another for Diane Ward. This year is bullshit. I had tickets to see Tool. I feel your pain. Just wait 10 years. As a soft-spoken person, it's very annoying that it is even harder to hear me with my mask on. I will continue to wear one as long as necessary, but I look forward to the day when people can read my lips and facials to help cover the gap for my soft voice lol. I have trouble hearing people in general. Masks have made it so much harder and I feel like a total idiot when I have to ask people to repeat themselves. My ADHD causes me to struggle with correctly recognizing what people say. Not being able to read lips as I listen is definitely making it harder. Same here. I never realized how much I relied on lip reading until now. Same. I didn't realize I was doing it until I couldn't anymore. It has been super strange. I didn't think my hearing was bad, but now I wonder. It's brought out the absolute worst in most people. Some people have risen above, but most have not. And people you'd have never thought in a million years could be so crass, rude, nasty, and downright mean are all coming out of the woodwork. I have definitely noticed a significant change in people's attitude, and I don't like it at all. I work in retail and there has been a huge change in some of the regulars' behavior. With it being a small shop, it's really easy to remember faces of the people who come in. I noticed that as well. I work in a retail store as well, and people have definitely been meaner and different since the pandemic started. I'm good at holding my cool, but I still notice it nonetheless. Same here. A lot of the customers have been coming in specifically to challenge us, walking in without a mask and cursing us out when we tell them to put one on, then act shocked when we refuse service. I think some people are just naturally belligerent, and with a little stress, that innate aggression is just coming front and center. They want to fight for the sake of having a fight, as if getting some underpaid retail worker to back down will get their lives back to normal, or as if they can just shout/fight their way out of this situation, when they really can't. Rushed research. I've read so many preprint papers that are just trash, or missing painfully obvious variables. Not surprising many of these papers get retracted, or absolutely tore apart by academics. It honestly feels like sometimes the authors are just trying to get something to stick, so they can have name recognition. Thankfully, there's a ton of great research out there. And then the media reports on non-peer-reviewed studies, and presents them as fact. As a service provider, I can see that some of my clients are actually benefiting from this pandemic. But still, they act like eau de fibre. In these times, we are all struggling. Can we please lower the budget? Can we delay the payments? I can literally hear the smiles on calls from them, as most of them have these ready-made excuses ready, while I know for a fact that their business is ducking booming for them because of this pandemic. But they expect my small business to take the hit and work in back capital for them, when it clearly is not, and they are literally showing off on their LinkedIn and websites and social medias how well they are doing. Me and my partners are working without salary, just so that we don't have to lay off our own employees, and I've got some of these almost millionaire assholes acting like life and business is tough. And 2 out of 3 of these clients are the ones that are not taking this pandemic seriously and asking their employees to come to their respective offices when they can easily manage it by working from home. The last sentence is my mom's job 1000%. It took a guy dying from the virus for them to finally move them to a work from home environment. They had like 70 something cases prior to her coworker passing. After 2 weeks they started to move everyone back in the office. Sad thing is, my mom said everything has been running a heck of a lot smoother at home. This company is walking on very thin eggshells at the moment. Damn near out of business. So they are making the dumbest decisions possible to try to keep money flowing. I just pray every day that my mom doesn't get it, and if she does, it is asymptomatic or mild. How everyone keeps saying everyone is out of work / self-isolating / working from / getting hazard pay, etc. I've been working every weekday, going business to business, delivering product, getting signatures, having to deal with all kinds of random people, employees, customers of my customer, and no one gave a shit about the delivery person. Want to say I appreciate you. You may not be my postal worker, but as someone who has been forced to stay home, immunocompromised great-grandparent, and lost my job because of the pandemic, and scrambled to order the things I needed to get set up to work from home. People like you have made a huge impact and, at least for me, allowed me to afford to keep food on the table and keep my great grandma safe. So thank you for doing what you do. The blatant politicization of science. The amount of small businesses that will be shuttered forever because of it. The idiocy it's brought out in people. Science has been politicized for years. Yeah, we're in the shit show we are now because of people like oil tycoons funding think tanks to systematically destroy people's trust in science. Koch brothers yet again ruin everything for everyone. But hey, they made money, so what else in life could possibly matter? The isolation. I didn't know for the past 2 weeks that one of my best friend's dad died. Without the pandemic I would have known and would have been there for him. Not just that, but the isolation drove my uncle's depression into overdrive, resulting in his suicide. He leaves behind 5 grandchildren, another on the way, 2 wonderful kids and their spouses, his disabled wife, his retirement house by the beach, his remaining siblings and in-laws, and various nieces and nephews. Now his wife, who is physically limited due to manuscript and almost incapable of speaking, has to sell their dream home and live her sunset years without a person to guide her. I've been crying fairly regularly since it happened. He'll never get to me at his newborn daughter. Last night I read her a book before bed, and when we finished I saw a handwritten note he wrote on it. It's all that I have left of him now. Hey, I'm so sorry for your loss. I see people in public restrooms at work all the time who run their gloved hands underwater for like 1 second and then go about the rest of their day touching everything. Just skip the gloves and wash your ducking hands. Clean hands are better than dirty gloves. I've seen some people use hand sanitizer on their gloves. I suppose it's better than nothing, but seriously, just forego the gloves entirely. You're wasting time and material. And the litter all that generates. There are masks, gloves and used disinfectant wipes drifting down the streets like tumbleweed. Not to mention the increase in single service plastics and such from restaurants doing takeout only. The higher frequency of hearing phrases like these uncertain times. Lately, I'm being annoyed by corporate branding on masks and other examples of people taking advantage of the pandemic to advertise or profit. The quarantine adverts have been the worst. We know your life is a living hell right now, but nothing will soothe the burden of society collapsing in on itself like Glade scented plugins. Apostrophe. I honestly don't mind the social distancing. The masks, although uncomfortable, they are better than the alternative. The corona test, although it was very uncomfortable to get a long stick up your nose, it's still better than the alternative. The quarantine, lack of travel, lack of work and money for months, the plastic screens in shops, the hand sanitizers, etc. It's all good. But the mental exhaustion from all of this overcautiousness and being afraid of hurting other people for no apparent reason was almost unbearable at times. Especially when you couldn't even get tested at first. I was afraid I had it already in March, had almost all the symptoms, and felt like total shit for 3 weeks. I couldn't get tested as there was not enough tests available for everybody, and I hadn't traveled to the high risk countries, China, US and Italy at that point. I had my wedding coming up, so I didn't want to risk anything, so I couldn't touch any of my relatives or friends. Had to self-isolate until the wedding, and couldn't get tested until August after the wedding, when the symptoms reappeared. I would have most likely lost it if I would have been single and not be able to see or touch anyone for 5 months. Ducking sucked. Yes, I don't mind many of the measures at all, but I'm exhausted by trying to be extra cautious when I do anything. I physically get alarmed when anyone is closer than 20 feet away, let alone those that will walk right up to you. Or if someone comes up to me without a mask, I'm not confrontational and can't bring myself to tell them to put one on. I watched someone do that and get verbally assaulted. I'm constantly terrified for my family and anyone else, and feel like I'm going to infect everyone. Misinformation. I don't mean a huge conspiracy theory or any political party using COVID-19 to their advantage. Thought there is some of that. I mean businesses, media, schools, local governments, etc. lying to the public and/or suppressing information. Some of them probably have an agenda, e.g., schools, but I suspect much of this boils down to apathy or ignorance. When people say the pandemic just brought out the worst, they are usually referring to people and their actions. However, it has brought out a much worst in our institutions. My cynicism used to be strong, but now it's over 9,000. It's really shown me how stupid most people are. They're even dumber than that. I miss George. That essential workers didn't get an extra $600 as well. An extra stimulus or government enforced extra pay. I feel bad for all those who lost their jobs and should be grateful for job security, but I did the math and world been making double on unemployment than I was working. I just think we deserved something too. People are treating essential workers like shit, too. Everyone's talking about how important we are to keeping the world running in these trying times, but damn they sure don't appreciate it all that much. Grocery workers getting screamed at over product shortages. Doctors being called liars. Nurses getting spit on. Maybe it's cause we're the only people with job security now. Or maybe people are just assholes and the pandemic made them show it. It's probably the latter. It really did bring out the worst in people. Personalities and harmful opinions were brought to the surface and you learned a lot about people. The gyms are closed. It's one of the few places I actually go. I'm losing good weight and gaining bad weight. Gyms are open near me, but I don't want to deal with BS. Everything that I was looking forward to was cancelled. This summer was the one between high school and college for me. Even though these are selfish and not very important problems, I would have loved to have a normal graduation and a summer spent by the lake with all my friends. And now it's almost over, and I feel like I'll be forever missing out on those experiences. It might seem like a small sacrifice that pales in comparison to some others, but that's a rite of passage, a special moment in your life that you can't just do later. I'm sorry you didn't get to have that experience. You have every right to grieve what you've missed out on. Thank you. I feel less ungrateful now. That it hit my country right after I started to want to live again. I don't remember a time in my life where I cared about anything and I was going to just kill myself. A few months before lockdown I went off of medications that were not helping. After the withdrawal I began to want to live. And the world shut down. I was unhappy about that. I still want to live. But now everything sucks. Glad you want to live. Hope it tastes even sweeter when the wait is finally over. That I can't see movies in theaters anymore. I really wanted to see The Quiet Place 2, but of course they pushed it back. I was like, fine. I'll wait till they stream it online. But nope. It looks like they're going to wait for the theaters to reopen. Like, are you kidding me? Movies cost money. They need theaters to make that money back. Streaming services don't nearly pay enough to justify big budget movies. And if they sell it online separately, it will get pirated and leaked online in a day. On the other hand, when they streamed Trolls 2, it made $100 million within 3 weeks for online release, which sparked debates on whether this was the best way to go. When they streamed Hamilton on Disney+, subscribers went up 74%. I don't disagree with you, but in the age of digital content and the fact nobody can go to the theaters now, investors should take note. Idiots acting like wearing a mask is literally the most painful thing to ever happen to them. Or tying it to politics. I hate that actually caring about the greater good of the general public is essentially considered a political stance in America. Greater good equals socialism. General public equals collectivism. My personal good equals freedom. Get it now? Commie/s. Why yes I get it comrade. Due to socialist education system I can understand that helping others is the right thing to do. Video games. I'm 32. Got furloughed and figured I would get back into online games. I just suck. You cats are too quick for me. So get Red Dead I thought. Wrong. Try a different one. Maybe an RPG. Wrong again. My love for video games went to shit, and it is so sad. I know. Wah wah, but for real. It made me realize how much I've fallen out of love with them. I can't go more than an hour playing anything, but I can watch Arrested Development for the 8th time. Ducking sad man. 10-year-old me would kick the shit out of me right now. To be fair, starting a new RPG or MMO does feel like a time waster when you get older. All those mundane quests that make you feel like you're just wasting more of your time. I was trying to get into Terra. But yeah, those quests. That I'm paying $30k to attend Zoom University School of Nursing. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.